What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Third Degree Fishing. As most of you know, I was able to pick up a brand new 2020 Hobie Outback, and I figured I'd transfer all my old fish finder stuff, accessories onto this new kayak, but I haven't been able to find a good tutorial on how to install a Hummingbird style transducer on the new Hobie Guardian plate. So I decided to take it all apart, and with some of the accessories that you can get, like the adapter kit for Hummingbird and some of the small parts that actually come with the Outback, I was able to come up with a way that I think it's actually going to work and fit correctly. So if you ever put one on, you know that there's 3 screws that go on to hold this plate on. Pop those off, and with the small parts kit, it comes with this little bump plate. It's not really necessary, but I figured if I have it, let's try to make it work. I did have to do some trimming to this plate and the actual transducer plate. So let me run you through that. So this little bump plate, it's mainly used for like the Lawrence units. They fit real smooth and they kind of just go in and out real quick. But with Hummingbird, the actual plate is a little wider, a little bit wider in order for it to fit. So I use a Dremel tool to knock down this edge a little bit. It comes out a little further, about another 1/2 inch further. So I knock that down, smooth it out, and I had to open up this little slot for my transducer to fit. Also, the way that I want to mount this without tearing this plate up, because I know they get kind of pricey, I went ahead and drilled a hole here and dremeled out the space for the actual wire to come through. So I know you can see that. So now I'm able to fit this plate on here and screw it on, and it'll actually fit pretty nicely. Let me go ahead and run the wire through real quick. I'm gonna mount this plate back on. It's got 2 little screws that mount to the back side of it, or the underside of it, and which actually holds it in. So let me go ahead and do that real quick, and I'll get back to you in a second. One thing that I did use was the Hobie Hummingbird adapter kit, and it comes with these 2 arms. And with these 2 arms, I went ahead and just mounted them to it. If you latch them in the actual slots, they don't fit completely level, forward, backward, or forward. So I'll show you pictures here in a second. See how they don't exactly keep level, they don't keep perpendicular with the actual transducer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna leave them like that, and I'll show you here in a second how they'll actually stay pretty pinned, and they won't move the transducer up and down. So let me run this wire through real quick, and I'll show you how that hole in the plate actually works. So now you can actually see that hole actually working for what I needed to do. I just took a little 1-inch drill bit, not drill bit, a 1-inch kind of like a woodworking tool, or woodworking drill bit, or whatever you want to call it. Punch the hole right through it. It's pretty, not soft plastic, but with that drill bit, it goes through it like butter. And with the Hobie Hummingbird kit, like I said, I have these here. They are the arms that come with that kit. And then with the small parts kit that it actually comes with from Hobie, I'm using these 2 arms, and I'm gonna mount them here in these slots, and I'll show you here in a second. I'm gonna mount these and actually put these together. So they're gonna go like that here. Give me 1 second while I mount. I'm using the hardware from that small parts kit also. Now that that's snugged up, See how it goes up and down? You're actually able to move this little plate. Living in the country, right? You can actually able to move this up and down. And then from here, I'm going to slide those arms in and make this work. Took me a few hours yesterday in order to find out a good way to mount this thing. But the end result, I think, comes out pretty nice. So, just like that. You can see that. So all I'm going to do is put a screw here, a screw and nut here, and a bolt and nut here in order to keep it from actually coming off of that little bracket. And I'm going to run a zip tie. I'm going to run a zip tie on the back side here in a second, and I'll show you that. Get everything snugged up. I did go to Lowe's. You can get it at Lowe's, Home Depot. I went with 832 by 1-inch bolts, stainless steel, and nylon locking nuts. So here you go. I'll snug everything up, but I'm just going to show you what it looks like before everything's all tightened down. Just like that. Running those 2 bolts through the outside with the nylon locking nuts on the inside. And I'm going to run that zip tie right through here, right through these 2 little slots, right on the back side. I'm going to run it right on the underside of it. And if this zip tie comes off, it's not too hard to remove that plate. It's only three little screws, but you just got to be kind of careful about those screws. They're in copper sleeves, and those sleeves will strip out pretty quick. So just a heads up when you do that. So I'll snug this up, but that's how that zip tie goes, or how I'm running it. Running it through those 2 slots. You can see them right there. And let me snug everything up before I tighten down the zip tie all the way. I think I'm pretty satisfied with that. Just gonna pull everything tight, making sure it's exactly where I want it, because I don't want to have to do this later. So we get everything tight right there. Let's go ahead and hold this down. Now that that's on there, I can adjust this zip tie to where I want it. Everything looks good, everything's not moving, everything's tight. And let's tighten up the zip tie. Okay, and then forgot my snips. Anyway, that's it. All I gotta do is cut this little zip tie, and that's it. That's the whole process. That's how I found what'll work for me, and I hope it'll work for you. And I'll put it back together. Oh, let me show you what I was talking about hoping you guys can see it. If not, I'll post some pictures. These slots, they don't line up and they won't mesh together, because if they were, these little arms would be pointing back or they'd be pointing forward, and they just don't work out that way. So fortunately, it actually fits pretty well. Those slots are bumped up against each other and they're not meshed together. So I'm thinking it'll work. I don't see any issues with it, but we'll find out on the water. So everything's snugged up. Next thing you gotta do is remove, there's 6 screws. They go here, 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 here. Remove those, and that will let your Guardian plate flex from in to out, or however it goes. So let me mount that and I'll show you how that goes. There you go. So when you're tying this knot, do the best you can to get it as far in as you can, if that makes any sense. I went ahead and tied 3 overhand knots, and like I said, these screws, these little screw slots, they're brass. So I use a screwdriver to put everything back together. And she won't cross thread them because those brass inserts are molded into the kayak, and I don't feel like having to retap one or replace one. So I'll do it by hand. It is the safest method. Give them a little snugness. I really don't need more than that. That's it. This transducer plate will go up and down just like that, and save your plate from being smashed.